Welcome to Play This Hand with Me mini lesson. Let's get started here. Fun hand today. I want to start with the auction because, as I always say, as defender and as declarer, the first thing you want to do is review the auction for any clues that might help you in the play. So let's take a look at this auction here. You're going to be south. Okay, we're all going to be sitting south as declarer and as the opening bidder. So I see this hand. This is what I think. I think to myself, okay, I'm not even going to count my high card points because I see a lot of tricks. And I'm thinking a strong two club opener. And there's two types of strong two club bids. One is that 22 point hand that we're all familiar with, 22 or more high card points. And that's a balanced hand, right? Two types of strong two club bids. Balanced 22 plus. Balanced. And if you're unbalanced, which is our hand on the screen here, we're now not even going to count our points. We have to have a minimum of 14 high card points, but that's all. When you're unbalanced, a minimum of 14 high card points is all you need. And I mean, just eyeballing this, I can see that. The other type of strong two club opener is when you are unbalanced and your suit is a major. If your suit is a major to open two clubs, you need 8.5 tricks minimum for the major, which is what we have here. And like I said, the ACBL put a minimum point requirement just a couple of summers ago. You didn't even used to have this, of 14 high card points. If your suit is a minor, which is not what we're talking about today, but just to complete the thought, you want 9.5 tricks if your long suit's a minor. The other difference between an unbalanced two club opener between the major and the minor is that in the major, you're just promising 5+ cards in the suit. Whereas if you open two clubs and rebid a minor, you're promising 6+ cards in that suit. So we're just gonna wall off the minor for now because that's not our hand today. We're up here with the major suit, strong two club opener, 8.5 tricks minimum, and at least a 5-card suit. So our plan is to open two clubs and rebid hearts to show that unbalanced hand with at least 8.5 tricks. So here we go, two clubs by south, and east and west are going to pass for us. North is going to make a waiting bid, what we call a waiting bid, just 2 diamond bids saying, partner, hey, do you have the strong 22 plus balanced hand, or do you have the unbalanced hand with at least 8.5 tricks? There's lots of systems you can play over that strong two club bid. And there's step responses, control bids, two hearts double negative, lots of other ones that I'm not even familiar with. What I recommended, what most experts play nowadays, is we just play a simple 2 diamond waiting bid because we don't want to get in the way of the opener's rebid. And more importantly, I think this is the biggest point. As North, as responder, I don't know how to evaluate my hand until I find out whether the strong two club bid is showing 22 plus with a balanced hand or 8.5 tricks with an unbalanced hand. If partner comes back, if South comes back here and bids 2 no, right? 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 2 no. Now as responder, I'm evaluating my hand based on high card points and length points. If my partner comes back as they're going to do in this hand and bid 2 hearts, it's not about high card points anymore. If the strong two club opener shows you an unbalanced hand, it's now about tricks and trump in your hand. So 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, South would rebid 2 hearts to announce to the world that they are unbalanced, have at least 14 high card points and 8.5 tricks, along with at least 5 hearts. North now is thinking, okay, controls. What I'm talking about for controls are aces, our first round controls, kings, our second round controls, voids, our first round controls, and singletons, our second round controls. So these are the controls that the responder now shares with the opener. So with this hand here, North has a couple of controls, the King of Hearts and the King of Diamonds. So they want to make a positive sounding bid and show support for South's 5+ hearts. And so over 2 hearts, the strongest bid North can make now is 3 hearts. And that goes along with our saying, the more you have, the slower you go. See, by being able to raise 2 hearts to 3 hearts to show those controls, and you only need 1 control, but any control, we happen to have 2 controls, the King of Hearts and the King of Diamonds, we're now leaving space to cue bid if we need to. Now over 3 hearts, we come back to South, and South has second round control of spades, first round control of diamonds, and first round control of clubs. So South doesn't need to cue bid. Cue bidding is used to solve the sorry side suit problems, the reason that you can't bid Blackwood. When you have, say if South had 2 little spades here, had a second spade there, South would then need to cue bid. But having a singleton, there's no way that the defenders can just go ace of spades, king of spades, and you're down. Okay, so as long as the person who's considering bidding Blackwood, which is what South's doing here, has first or second round control in each of the side suits. So this 7 of spades here is considered a second round control. That's the singleton up here we talked about. Kings and singletons are second round controls. You have the green light to bid 4-0. So South asks for aces, and depending on what your methods are, if you play straight aces, North would say I've got none. If you play a key card system, North would say they have 1. Okay, and depending on whether you play 14-30 or 30-14, I have 5 diamonds in the auction here to show 1 key card. But in your methods, whatever they are, you know what the response would be. So now South is looking at their controls, and they're saying, okay, partner either has, playing key card, let's assume key card for this discussion, either has the King of Hearts, that's the key card, or the Ace of Spades. So it looks good as far as bidding 6. 7, no more. 7's not in consideration, but 6 hearts sounds doable. So South bids up to 6 hearts, and North says, oh, good, you're playing it. And now we have to make it. So let me erase all of these ideas here. And West leads out the 10 of diamonds. Now what I want to do is give you about 1 minute. I'm going to set the timer. I'm going to give you 1 minute to make your plan. Make your plan. And if you come up with a plan, just go ahead and type it in your questions box. Tell me what your working suit is and what the technique is. Just those 2 questions, what the working suit is and what the technique is. And I'm going to start the clock right now, 1 minute, to gather your thoughts. All right, so let's start from the top. I'm seeing a lot of this in the answers here. We're counting losers. We're counting losers from South's hand. South is the master hand. And it looks like we have 1 spade loser. We look to North for any cover cards that North may not have or may have for us, and North has no spade cover card. Hearts are looking solid with North's King of Hearts there. And diamonds are solid with North's King Jack of Diamonds. The club suit, however, looks like to be on a finesse. And anytime we say to ourselves, it depends, like It depends on who has the queen of clubs here, whether East has the queen of clubs or West has the queen of clubs. If we say it depends, then we count it as a loser. So we have 2 losers, and our goal is only 1 loser. So we start looking at some techniques. We could do a straight up finesse in the clubs. Okay, straight up finesse, club suit, working suit, finesse is the technique, and that's 50-50. So that's one option, definitely one option. And then we take a look at the spades. And I will give you a little tip. Anytime that you have a side 5-card suit, you're in a trump suit and you have a side 5-card suit, either in your own hand, which is unusual, more times than not, it's in the dummy. That's going to be your working suit. So let's just take a quick look at the spade suit and see what we've got there. The spade suit as a working suit, right? We've got the club suit. The technique is finesse. That's 50-50. We have the spade suit, and the technique is long suit development. Long suit development. And what we need to develop an extra trick in the spades, what we're analyzing is whether or not we can develop that 2 of spades into a trick, an extra winner in the dummy to discard away the 4 of clubs. So long suit development, what we need, we have 5 spades in North's hand, 1 spade in South's hand, that's 6. So the opponents have 7. We need for the opponent's spades to break 4-3. We need one opponent to have 4 and the other opponent to have 3. If it breaks 5-2, we don't have a chance, right? Our 2 is not going to be good. So in order for this to work, we need spades to be 4-3. And that's not to throw odds out at you there, but that's approximately 63% of the time. So choice number 1 is our club finesse, 50-50, whether it works or not. Choice number 2 is to work on the spades and set up the 5th spade in North's hand to discard away the 4 of clubs so that we no longer have to take that 50% finesse. And that's approximately 63% of the time. So if we're doing just straight odds, it's got to be right to go after the long suit development. If it turns out that spades do go 5-2, if that's how they are, and the 2 of spades is no longer any chance of being an extra winner to throw our 4 of clubs away, then we could fall back on taking the club finesse, right? We don't have to give up on it right now. We're just not going to put it front and center. We're going to test the spade suit, see if spades are 4-3, and then if they are, use the 2 of spades as the extra winner in the dummy to throw away the 4 of clubs. If they break 5-2 or 6-1, then we're going to go ahead and fall back on our club finesse. So this way we're combining chances. Instead of just taking a straight up finesse, losing to the queen of clubs and losing our spade trick anyway, we're gonna start on those spades early on. Now, if you say to yourself, if you identify your working suit with the technique of long suit development, immediately you want your mind to start thinking entry management. Do I have enough entries to first set up that long suit, and second, return to the long suit to enjoy the extra trick? So if you get to the step that, okay, my working suit is long suit development, is spades here, long suit development is my technique, analyze for entries. Because if you don't have enough entries to your long suit, to North in this case, you have to just fall back on the straight finesse in the club suit, right? There's no chance. So we look to North. We're still analyzing for this long suit development. This interests us. And we see the King of Diamonds is a potential entry. We see that the 8 of Hearts is a potential entry. The 9 of Hearts is a potential entry. The King of Hearts is a potential entry. So we have 5 entries. Excuse me, I'm sorry. 3 heart entries and 1 diamond entry. 4 entries. 4 entries. So in your mind, this is sort of tricky. In your mind, when you're at the table, what you have to do is say, okay, well, I can lead a spade out, fine. I need an entry to ruff the first round of spades, ruff the second round of spades, ruff the third round of spades, and then enjoy the extra trick. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4 entries for this long suit development technique to work. And look at that, I have them. If you fall an entry short, don't waste your time on long suit development. Go straight up for the finesse. But if you analyze your entries, analyze the number of entries you need, and you have sufficient entries, then let's take that 63% chance first. And if it doesn't work, fall back on the 50% chance. So let me clean this up and let's see how the play would go. 10 of diamonds lead. Now we talked about that king of diamonds as being an entry, so we better preserve that at trick 1, right? So we're going to play the jack, and East can follow. And we're going to win the ace of diamonds, right? Because we need that king to be an entry. So don't win the queen, you've just lost your 4th entry, right? So that's why entry, you got to look at those entries at trick 1. The first trick has to go jack of diamonds, East plays the diamond, and you, South, win the ace of diamonds. So later on, when our 5th spade is set up to discard away our 4 of clubs, we now have an entry by leading the queen of diamonds over to the king of diamonds, right? We had to unblock that diamond suit to create our entry there. Now we're going to go right to work on spades. Don't pull trump. No pulling trump, because if you pull trump, you've just lost your entries to setting up the spade suit. So at trick 2, and I'm going to go ahead and draw out those 3 spades so we can see it happening. This is not a concrete idea. You know, it's not something you can see, your mind's eye can see. So I'm going to draw out spades to be 4-3 here as we play. So we lead out the 7 of spades, and I'm going to change my pen color to something else. And that takes 1 spade from west. And we play a spade from north, and that takes 1 spade from east. And most likely, let's say East, either player could have won the spade. Let's say East wins the spade and returns a club. Well, we're not taking our club finesse yet, right? We're still working on spades. So we're going to go up with their ace of clubs. West is going to follow. And we follow from north. Now we're going to travel over to North's hand with the 8 of hearts. Each defender's following. And trump a spade. Right, so that's the first time we're trumping. That takes the 2nd spade out of, and I'm going to trump high over here so I can still travel to the 9 of hearts. So I'm going to trump high, and that takes the 2nd spade out of both East and West hands. So then I'm going to travel back across to the 9 of hearts, and East actually shows out because the hearts were 2-1. And trump our 2nd round of spades. Remember, we lost the 1st round, and now we're trumping our 2nd round of spades, which takes the last spade out of East hand. And West is left with 1 spade. So we go back across to the King of Hearts. At this point, West and East are all just discarding because they don't have any hearts left. And we trump the 3rd round of spades. And again, East is discarding. We trump with our queen, and that takes away West's last spade. And now our 6 of spades is good. We did all of that work in order to throw away the 4 of clubs. So now we just need to use our queen of diamonds as our final transportation card, because we were very careful at trick 1 over to the king of diamonds, cash that six of spades, as everybody's discarding at this point, and throw away the four of clubs. Then if you look down in South's hand, South has no more losers. Voila. It's almost like magic. I always think of long suit development technique as magic because you don't really see the tricks, or the trick in this case, at trick one. But then as you play out the hand using your entry management technique and your long suit development technique, it just magically appears. I've just always, from a young child, I've always thought of the magic of the long suit development as like a magic trick. It just appears from nowhere. All right, so long suit development, consider it as one of your techniques when you are declarer in a trump suit. It does work in no trump. Long suit development does work in no trump as well. I'm just saying in a trump suit, if you have a side 5-card suit, that's the big takeaway here. If you have a side 5-card suit and a trump suit, at least consider it as your working suit. And more times than not, it's going to be your working suit. More so than a straight up finesse, because straight up finesse is 50%. And it's sort of a why not? Why not test the long suit development and then fall back on the finesse? And that way you get maximum chances of making your hand. All right, you guys have a good day. We'll be seeing you online and enjoy your game.